Have you ever sat across from him, pouring your heart into every word, and still felt like he just didn't see you? Like no matter how deeply you care, how much love you give, it never truly reaches him the way you hoped it would. If so, you're not alone, and you're not wrong for wondering what truly makes a man fall in love. Because love isn't just about words or moments, it's about impact. It's not about how loud you speak, it's about how deeply you're felt. There's a quiet truth most women are never taught. Men don't fall in love when you do more. They fall in love when you become more. More still, more powerful, more in control of your energy. A man doesn't fall in love through pressure, he falls in love through presence. Real, grounded, magnetic presence. And when that presence comes from a woman who knows herself, it's unforgettable. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And queens, this is where it begins. When you stop asking, what can I do to make him love me? And start asking, what can I become to make myself unforgettable? That's when everything shifts. That's when the energy changes. Imagine a rose blooming in silence. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't chase the sun. It simply opens, and everything around it stops to admire. That's what happens when you stop performing and start becoming. He may not notice your every word, but he'll never forget how your energy made him feel safe, intrigued, challenged, awakened. You see, it's never about fixing yourself to be chosen. It's about realizing that you were never meant to chase love. You were born to attract it. And when that realization hits, something powerful happens. You rise, you stop shrinking, you step into your power. That's when the shift begins. That's when a man doesn't just notice you, he can't stop thinking about you. Dear beautiful woman, you are not here to be an echo in his world. You are here to be the voice that echoes in his soul. You are not a chapter in his story. You are the plot twist he never saw coming. And now, Queen, it's time to learn how this truly works. Let's begin. If this message touched something deep inside you, if it reminded you of your worth, your power, and the love you truly deserve, then show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. We're working hard to bring you the truth, the healing, and the guidance your heart's been quietly searching for. This space is for you, Queen, because you were never meant to settle, you were meant to rise. Number 1. He doesn't fall for looks, he falls for the way your silence makes him think. Have you ever noticed how quiet can suddenly become loud when you stop talking, when you don't argue, when you don't explain, when you don't ask for clarity, attention, or closure, and all you offer is silence? That's when he starts to think. That's when his mind begins to wander, when his heart starts to feel something he didn't expect. Because it's not your face that haunts him, it's your absence. It's not your beauty he keeps replaying, it's the space you left behind. He didn't fall in love with the way you looked. He started falling when your silence made him hear his own thoughts. A man doesn't fall when you talk louder. He falls when your stillness gets louder than his ego. When you stop chasing, stop trying, stop explaining yourself just to be heard, you create the very distance that makes him notice what he once had. It's in that quiet distance, where you no longer beg to be seen, that he finally starts to look. And queens, he doesn't fall for noise, he falls for peace. He falls for the kind of woman who doesn't need to shout her worth, because her silence already speaks volumes. As the wise say, what you allow is what will continue, but what you remove is what he will remember. Imagine being a soft flame that once kept him warm, and now that you're gone, the cold bites harder. Your silence is not weakness, It is reflection, it is discipline, and it is power. A man may forget a pretty face, but he will never forget the woman who didn't need to say a word to teach him what losing her felt like. Think of a deep ocean, calm, silent, still on the surface, but beneath it, depths that could drown him in realization. That's what you are when you finally stop proving your value. You stop responding. You stop filling the silence. And in that space, he falls, not because you begged, but because you walked away holding every piece of yourself. Dear woman, this is your reminder. You don't need to scream to be remembered. You don't need to explain to be valued. He didn't fall for your voice. He fell when he noticed how powerful your silence was. And now, he's replaying every word you didn't say. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silence makes him remember me. Say it, feel it, live it, because your power was never in what you said, but in what you held back. And if this message lit something in you, if it reminded you of the power you've always had, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you real, life-changing lessons, because queens like you were never meant to whisper, you were born to reign. Number 2. He falls when you stop competing and start commanding the room without saying a word. Have you ever walked into a room and felt yourself shrinking, silently comparing yourself to the woman on his arm, the one he laughs with, the one he looks at like she holds the stars in her smile? Have you ever caught yourself wondering if you're enough, if maybe you need to be louder, prettier, more his type? That's the lie. That's where most women start losing their power, because he doesn't fall in love with the one who's fighting for attention. He falls in love with the one who doesn't have to ask for it, the one who walks in, speaks nothing, and yet shifts the entire atmosphere. A woman like that doesn't compete. She commands, and not with noise, but with presence. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul remains unconquered if it withdraws into itself." When you stop letting his gaze define your worth, when you pull your power back in, something happens. He notices, not because you forced it, but because you became the kind of woman who doesn't need a crown to be known as royalty. Picture a candle in a dark room. The flame says nothing, yet all eyes go to it. No noise, no struggle, just light. That's you, beautiful woman. When you stop trying to prove that you're better than her and start becoming the best version of you, he sees it. He feels it, and for the first time, he starts to fall, not because you begged to be seen, but because you were impossible to ignore. He will remember the woman who didn't need to tear others down to feel whole. He will crave the kind of strength that doesn't scream, and when he lies next to her, the one he thought was enough, and feels something missing. That's when your silence will speak the loudest. That's when the regret will bloom. But this isn't about him anymore. This is about you, the woman who stopped looking around and started looking within, the woman who remembered she is the storm, not the whisper. This is your transformation. You're not broken. You're becoming. Affirm this in the comments. I do not compete. I command queens. Write it, feel it, become it, because your power does not beg, it reigns. We are working hard to bring you life-changing truths because you were never made to chase. You were made to rule. Number 3, he falls when he sees you're not afraid to lose him. Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop fearing his loss is the moment he starts fearing yours? He doesn't fall when you give your all too soon. He doesn't fall when you try to prove you're worthy. He falls when he realizes you don't need him to feel complete. That's when it hits him. When he sees you're not afraid to walk away, not scared to lose him, that's when the chase begins, not out of ego, but out of realization. There is a shift in energy that happens when a woman stops waiting, a quiet power, a steady calm. And that shift, he feels it, not in his ears, but in his gut, because nothing scares a man more than knowing the woman he took for granted has finally seen her own value. You stop calling, you stop explaining, you stop showing up for someone who never showed up for you, and just like that, he realizes you were the one. Seneca once said, "Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life." And that's exactly what happens when you stop holding your breath for him. You begin again, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with boldness. The kind of boldness that makes a man look twice and then again because what he thought was his fallback just became his biggest regret. Imagine a butterfly landing on your palm. You try to hold it too tight and it flies away, but let it rest freely and it might stay longer than you expect. That's you. When you stop gripping, stop begging, stop fearing his absence, you become the peace he never found anywhere else. That's the truth. He doesn't fall for your attachment, he falls for your detachment, because you are no longer afraid of losing him. And that confidence, that freedom, it's magnetic. He starts to ask himself questions he never did before. Why does she seem lighter? Who is she becoming without me? Why does her silence speak louder than her words ever did? And that's when love begins. Real, deep, undeniable love. Not because you fought for it, but because you rose above it. Dear, beautiful woman, your power is not in the way you love him, it's in the way you love yourself enough to let go. You are not afraid of the goodbye because you know what you bring to the table. And when he finally realizes he can't manipulate your value, he falls hard, deep, and without a safety net. Write this in the comments and claim it. I'm not afraid to lose him. Let this world see that you are no longer shrinking for the comfort of a man who couldn't see your crown. We're working day and night to bring you powerful, life-changing lessons because, Queen, you were never meant to be chosen. You were born to reign. Number 4. He falls in love with the way you make him feel like a man without losing your crown. Have you ever made him feel like the strongest man in the room and still watched him walk away like he didn't know what he had? It hurts, doesn't it, when you gave him your support, your softness, your loyalty, and, in return, he chose comfort over character. But here's the truth no one tells you. A man doesn't fall in love with a woman who shrinks to make him feel tall. He falls in love with the one who lets him feel powerful without ever handing over her crown. There's a fine line between making him feel like a man and losing yourself in the process. But when you hold that line, that's when his heart begins to shift. A man is not captivated by control, he is captivated by balance. When you respect him without worshipping him, when you give him room to lead but never follow blindly, when you let him feel needed but never forget that you are complete on your own, that's when love takes root. Not infatuation, not lust, but real love. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So what are you telling yourself right now? That maybe you weren't enough, that maybe she made him feel more like a man? Stop that thought. Beautiful. He didn't leave because you lacked something. He left because he couldn't handle everything you are. Your presence didn't shrink for his ego, and that scared him. Think of a crown balanced on your head. It's heavy, yes, but you wear it with grace. You don't drop it just because he feels small. You don't take it off so he feels taller. And yet, when you love him with your strength and not your silence, when you stand tall beside him and still make him feel like a king, that's when he realizes he'll never find this kind of love again. You are not just a woman, you are a storm that teaches him how to sail. You are the mirror that shows him who he could become if he's brave enough to rise beside you. And now, let's speak it out loud. Write this in the comments and claim it. I make him feel like a king without losing my crown. Say it, mean it, own it, queens, because from this moment on, you are done shrinking to fit inside a man's comfort zone. You are done lowering your standards to feel loved. If this truth lit something inside your spirit, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you these real, powerful, life-changing lessons because you were never meant to chase love. You were meant to reign in it. Number 5. He falls when you mirror his soul, not his ego. Have you ever looked into his eyes and felt like he saw you, but only the version of you that made him feel powerful, not the one that made him feel understood? Like he admired you when you praised him, but grew distant when you challenged him to be more. That's not love, that's ego. And here's the truth, most women don't learn soon enough. He doesn't fall in love when you feed his ego. He falls in love when you mirror his soul. There's a difference, a big one. A man can be entertained by someone who flatters him, but he is moved by the woman who sees into him. Not just the strong parts he shows the world, but the fears he hides, the dreams he doesn't speak of, the parts of him even he's still figuring out. When he sees that you're not here to perform for him, but to reflect him back in truth, that's when his guard falls. That's when the walls crack. As Carl Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And queens, when you become the mirror that reflects his truth, not his illusion, he doesn't just fall, he falls deep. Because you're not just another woman trying to impress him, you are the one who understands him without him even having to explain. Imagine a lake, still and clear. When he looks into it, he doesn't see what he wants to see, he sees what's really there. You become that lake. Not because you're passive, but because your presence is so deep, so steady, that he starts to see his own reflection in ways he never has before. And in that moment, he begins to realize this isn't just about attraction, this is about connection. And connection, that's where love begins. So, dear woman, stop shrinking to keep him comfortable. You weren't made to be his cheerleader. You were born to be his mirror. And once he feels that, he won't be able to forget it. You are not a copy. You are not a fan. You are not a shadow. You are the moment he finally sees himself clearly. And that is what makes him fall. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I mirror the soul, not the ego. Let this truth settle into your bones. You are the one who reflects depth, the one he'll never replace, the one he'll compare every woman to because you showed him something real. We're working hard to create lessons that speak to your heart, your power, and your journey. You were never meant to be background noise. You were meant to be the voice. Let's rise together. Number 6. He falls when you leave a trail of absence, not crumbs. Have you ever noticed how quickly he stops showing up the moment you start chasing? How the more crumbs you give, the more he disappears into silence. It's painful, isn't it? You keep thinking that if you just give him a little more attention, a little more understanding, a little more patience, he'll come around. But he doesn't, because a man doesn't fall in love with a woman who feeds him pieces. He falls in love with the one who takes the whole plate and walks away without looking back. Here's the hard truth. When you give too much, too soon, he doesn't feel lucky. He feels comfortable, and comfort rarely leads to passion. A man needs space to miss you. He needs the quiet to hear the echo of your absence. He needs to realize that love isn't about access, it's about energy. Real love starts when you stop showing up for free. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. And Queen, if it is not being returned, stop giving it. You were not created to leave trails of crumbs, hoping he follows. You were created to walk boldly, leaving behind the scent of something unforgettable. That's how he falls. Not when you stay and prove your worth, but when you leave and your absence becomes the thing he can't get out of his head. Picture a candle in a dark room. When it's lit, everyone gathers around it. But the moment it burns out, suddenly it's mist. That glow becomes a memory, and that's what your energy should be. A light he remembers, not a flame he gets used to. He needs to feel the chill when your warmth is gone. Only then will he realize it was never the room. It was always you. Beautiful woman, you are not here to beg for a place in his life. You are the place he'll wish he never left. And now you stop leaving crumbs. Now you leave space. Space that makes him wonder. Space that makes him ache. Because when he reaches for you and finds nothing but air, that's when the fall begins. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. My absence will teach what my presence never could. We're working hard to give you the wisdom, strength, and love you deserve, because your reign doesn't begin when he chooses you. It begins when you do. Number 7. He falls when he sees you're whole with or without him. Have you ever noticed how he starts paying attention the moment you stop waiting? How the energy shifts when you're no longer checking your phone, hoping for a message that never comes? It's not magic. It's not a game. It's the moment he realizes you are whole with or without him. That's when everything changes. That's when he starts to feel something deeper, something rare. Because the truth is, a man doesn't fall in love when you need him. He falls when he sees that you don't. There's something unexplainable about a woman who carries herself like her life is already full. She walks differently. She laughs deeper. She doesn't ask to be chosen. She chooses herself first. And that presence, that's what captures him. That's what makes him stop and stare. Because he doesn't just see a woman anymore, he sees a force. Marcus Aurelius once said, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." And Queen, that's the energy that shifts everything. When you're not chasing love, when you're building your peace, when you're not waiting to be enough, you become magnetic. Not because you're trying to impress him, but because you've stopped needing to. Think of a garden in full bloom. It doesn't call out to be noticed. It grows anyway. It flourishes with or without an audience. And when he stumbles across it, he's stunned, because beauty like that, peace like that, can't be faked. It can't be rushed. It can't be replaced. That's how love works. He doesn't fall because you begged for attention. He falls because you became the woman he never thought he'd find. Let him see the version of you that no longer explains herself. Let him witness your glow, not for him, but for yourself. Let him realize too late that while he was out looking for something new, you were becoming untouchable. And that kind of realization, it stays with a man for life. Beautiful lady, your power was never meant to beg. Your heart was never meant to shrink. You were born to rise, and the second you stop waiting for love and start embodying it, he will feel it, even from miles away. Write this in the comments and claim it. I am whole, with or without him. Let the world know that your worth is not tied to his choices. If this message reminded you of the fire within you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you the truth, the healing, and the power you deserve. Because queens don't wait to be chosen. Queens reign.